Hello, everybody. Welcome to ZoomZoomers on the 7th of September, 2020. So still during lockdown in the UK. I'm going to now let the guys in because I know you don't want to speak to me. Damien Cross at DC_F1 on Twitter. So I'm going to admit everybody that's in the waiting room right now and see who's here tonight. Okay, we see some names popping up here. I know we see some faces as well. So hello, Alan. Hello, Craig. Let me know if you can hear me because I know I'm a bit quiet sometimes on here as well. Excellent, good news. Just admitting a few more people. We have Neil, we have Joe.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Are you getting on all right? Yeah, nod from Craig. Just giving a few more seconds for people to join. Ian Cook, we can see. Hello, how are you doing, sir?
I'm all right, thank you. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm all right. We've got a newcomer. We can see a new face here. So, Simon Browse, nice to see you. Can you hear us okay, Simon?
Hear you perfectly. How can you hear me?
Yeah, I could hear you. No worries at all. So, all good there. Just again, just a couple more people in here. We've got Naomi and Cammie joining us in just a moment. Hello, Naomi. Can you hear us okay?
Yes, indeed. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, I dropped a message to you guys saying I'm having some technical difficulties, but I've kind of overcome that by going back to old school. So I'm on an old camera, I'm on my old computer, and I'll figure it out before the next one, how to use all my new lovely shiny equipment, which is brilliant at some things, but then just, yeah, ZoomZoomers, it didn't quite want to happen. But before we do all that, well, I've got one more person to let in, but before we do anything else, let's go around everybody and get some introductions done. So Craig, could you let us know your name and your Twitter handle, please?
I'm Craig Woollard at Craig_Woollard, and I'm a freelance motorsport journalist and historian, and I'm back.
Yeah, it's been a while, but it's been a really good Grand Prix I'm hoping to talk to you about in just a moment. So I'm assuming you saw it. Is that a Ferrari logo on that mug?
That is indeed.
Okay.
I have an array of mugs. I have no bias towards any teams, I should emphasize. But I just saw the mug and I liked it, so I bought it.
It looks like a nice mug.
That's a very Cammie quote there, but
yeah. Okay, Neil. Before I think you had some food there, so before you start munching, I'll ask you your name and your Twitter handle, please. Nice.
I have some very nice crisps. Good evening. I'm Neil Briscoe. You'll find me at Neil M Briscoe on Twitter. I'm a freelance motoring journalist, usually to be found writing for the Irish Times and CompleteCar.ie.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Naomi.
Naomi Panter at Naomi Panter on Twitter, motorsport PR predominantly, and co-founder of a company called Navigate.
Excellent. Great to have you here, Naomi, because I know that you've been having some issues with the back. So if you disappear, we know no worries at all.
Thanks,
Alan.
Hi, I'm Alan Bradley. I am presenter of, or one of the presenters of the Motoring Podcast. You can find me on Twitter at AJP Bradley. That's Bradley.
We did see if the other presenter could come along tonight, but he said he's unavailable, but did tell us to have a drink every time you mentioned Toyota. So
he does something else, yes.
Yeah.
I've only got the one case.
Yeah, I
know. Joe, if I could take your name and your Twitter handle, please.
Yeah, Joe Tanner at Stuff About Cars, and I apologise for my shirt.
Yeah, what's that all about? Is it
just about to compliment you?
Yeah, thanks, Naomi. Yeah, yeah, I think be up Simon's Street is his kind of.
I'm all about all of those Buicks. I'm about all of them. Love it.
Great, Simon. This is your first time on ZoomZoomers, of course, and I know in the group chat a few times we've said, "Oh, it'd be great to get him along." So could you just let us know, for anyone who's not seen this before or doesn't perhaps know who you are, your name and your Twitter handle, please?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Damien and everyone. Really appreciate it. I'm Simon Browse. I'm a vehicle restorer. I work in film and TV a lot, and my Twitter handle is imaginatively Cy_Browse.
Excellent, thanks for that. Yeah, we'll talk about that in just a moment, because you've got some fascinating cars that you work on. You're not just you run of the mill stuff. There's some fantastic things. Some where the fins aren't quite pointy enough, or something like that.
Oh yeah, we'll get into that. We'll get into that.
Yeah. Ian, if I could take your name and your Twitter handle, please.
It's Ian Cook from Popbang Colour, and it's at Popbang Colour, and I'm an artist who paints with cars and draws. And I'm painting with cars this weekend. Yeah.
Ah, finally. Hey. You're back on the road, are you?
Yes, for an event. Yes, first post-COVID event. Well, not post-COVID. post lockdown event.
Yeah. Cool. Good to hear that you're back on the out doing what you do best. Cammie, can I take your name and your Twitter handle, please?
My name is Cammie. My Twitter handle's Cammie Racing, and graphic designer and sim racer for Team Fordzilla.
Excellent, fantastic. Thanks, Cammie. Richard.
Hello, I'm Richard Gooding. My Twitter handle is richgooding.com, and I'm a motoring writer and graphic designer.
Excellent, fantastic. And LA.
Hi.
Hiya.
My Twitter handle is @1_LA, so you can call me LA. Yeah. And what do I do?
Well, you talk a lot about Formula 2, don't you? So that's
entertain. That's what I do. Yeah. I do a bit of dabbling in writing for Inside F2. So I'm just trying to post my latest article.
Okay, yeah, we'll leave you to it. Yeah, if you disappear for a bit, you're in a different location because they're not used to seeing you surrounded by bookshelves and things. So
no, this is my intelligent quarter. No,
oh,
no,
right.
I've moved my bed because you can see the roof.
Yeah.
Right, well, there's a Velux window, and when it starts getting colder, I see it gets really cold under the window, and that's where my bed has been. Hence the blind behind me for weeks and weeks, and now it's getting too cold, so I'm now away from the window. There you go.
Okay, thank you very much. So Ian, then, where are you going to actually be this coming weekend? Is it? Or?
Oh, I don't know whether I can say it yet or not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I probably can. It's fine. It's down at Vista Heritage.
Okay.
For the seen the online event with Revs, Revs event, which is really cool. So that's Adam has done an amazing job to kind of engage lots of folk in it and do live. People do walkarounds with their cars and whatnot. But we're going to be down at Vista, and the artwork that I'm going to be doing is going to be auctioned off for charity. So that is cool because it's all going to be done for charity. So three charities. So Mind, Mission Motorsport, and another automotive one. So there'll be a live auction, so you can get hold of the original artwork, which would be cool.
It'd be really cool. Yeah. So updates on your social media, and we can keep an eye out for that.
Plenty of that. I'm going to get it all start. We'll start tomorrow. I'll start doing little videos about what's going to be created. And it'd be cool just to get back out on the road of just being like, there's only so much time you can be in the studio. Like it's been cool. I've got loads of edits done, and we've got loads of stuff done. But it'll be nice to be out and see people, and Vista Heritage is a lovely place anyway. So
I don't want to pry too much if you can't say too much, but are you painting with cars again then?
Oh yeah. Do my normal job. I put my
normal job.
Inverted commas normal. So I'm I've got some paintings to do this week. I need to finish off. So just to get back into the flow of it, I'll probably start doing some paintings tomorrow, because I've now can't finish continuous car, but it's kind of like I've done 602, so it's kind of like all the edits are now done. So that's for the book. My JPEG edits, the high res edits are being done. So it would just be cool just to get back into painting. Since February. Last time I painted was February. So
wow, February. Yeah, I suppose it has been a while. Yeah. It's only when you start to think about how long we've been without car shows and things that it becomes.
The last proper car show I did was London Classic, and I did a very small event at Type 2 Detectives with the Porsche Club GB. But in terms of actual physically at an event with anybody around and interacting, that was the last time. So it'd be nice to be out there. So I'm going to be doing some promotion with it from tomorrow, I believe.
Okie dokie, fantastic. Look forward to seeing updates on that. So Simon, now as I mentioned earlier, your first time on here, and you deal with some quirky cars. So do you want to tell us a little bit about this story about you having a car where the fins weren't quite pointy enough, and we can get a bit of an insight into what you do?
Yeah, so basically, I'm a restorer, so I'm very lucky in that I get to either nearly always they're cars that I would like, and I'm able to buy in horrific conditions all over the world, and I then restore them back to as original as can possibly be.
Yeah.
And then they need to earn their keep. I'm not rich, so they need to kind of earn their keep. I don't buy them for investments. They're not then sold on straight away. I don't like doing that. So I'm a bit strange in the ether of kind of the classic car and sort of Paul Cowland word. He'll like that world. In that I try and get something interesting and I'm able to keep it. But so that my one of the latest cars I've just finished is a pretty rare 1956 Cadillac convertible. So it's very old. This specific model is incredibly rare. Taking it back to its original color, which is a really, really soft pink, really kind of pastel color. And it's been pretty popular. It's a fantastic car, and the feedback so far from everyone has been really good. Film and TV and promotion love it a lot, which has been brilliant. And I was all contracts signed in to do this promotion stroke YouTube video stroke TV episode all in one go in Surrey, not too far from where I am in the southeast. And the day before, the production company said, actually, we're looking for something that's even pinker and the fins on the car aren't sharp enough. Can we adjust them? So
how much do you want to spend?
Exactly.
We could do anything for the right money.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. So
Wow.
as I said, the car's one of 10 left. So obviously there's no adjustments in the fins. So
no.
Amazing. So obviously directorial wanted something different and pointier, and I still am not sure what they went for. There doesn't really get, if anyone knows the car or knows me, look at my Twitter, there's pictures of it everywhere. Doesn't really get much more pink and pointy than a 50s Cadillac, if I'm honest. Triumph Herald? I don't know.
Yeah. Oh well, never mind. Let's see what they come up with. But hopefully they're kind of regretting the decision to turn you away, because you've got a pink pointy car.
It's just gorgeous. Gorgeous. The bench seats at the front and everything. I wish that would come back.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Cadillac design in the 50s through to the mid 60s was just unbelievably good.
Yeah, it was.
We had a debate. I don't know if it's last week, a couple of weeks ago, about cars that looked better with the roof down or as a convertible, and I think that era for me was of American cars always looked fantastic when they got the roof down. But even so, the drama of them and the sheer size of them when you see them in the UK, they're so dramatic, and it's fantastic to see people like you keeping them going and seeing them out and about. It's always fantastic, rather than just seeing them in car shows every now and again. To see them being used is great stuff. So what other sort of cars have you got there, as well as the pink car?
Yeah. Well, we've got most of my cars and most of my kind of upbringing, as dear Alan will know, is sort of 1920s and 30s things. So really old, really old. So Rolls Royces, 2025s, Jaguars of the mid 50s, Austin Princesses. So there's that, and as in limousines, not the Austin Princesses that some love, some don't, from the 70s.
I can see a Volvo peeping.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Yeah, plenty of 80s. Plenty of 80s. Yeah, I'm a big Volvo person. I love the quirkiness of the design. Again, it was I love the direction that design went for both Cadillac in the 50s and Volvo went in the 80s, 70s. It was, we're going to make it our way. We're not going to conform. We're going to do our thing. And they're very Marmite. Lots of people don't like the square. Lots of people don't like the 50s round. It's a real thing. I like that independence and that direction.
Yeah,
I think it's brave. I like design now. I love modern design. I think it's fantastic. That choose independence, not BMW front bumpers and grills. No. But Marmite.
Yeah, indeed. It's better for things to be loved by some people and not by others than everything to just be liked by everybody, because nobody ends up buying or spending tens of thousands of pounds on something that they just like. So you might as well go bold and see what happens. Yeah, no, fantastic to see those cars still in action. Before we move on, then Craig, I've got to come to you and ask you, whether you saw the Grand Prix first of all. So there might be some spoilers here for people that have not seen it yet, but I think everywhere over the internet's been spoilers recently for this one.
Yeah, saw the Grand Prix, and so it sat there within the first, even the first half of the race, and I was thinking, well, this is a bit sort of dull, isn't it? And then we had anarchy. I think that's the best way to put it. Absolute anarchy.
Yeah, it was a race. I recorded it. I was out and about at the weekend, and normally I watch the Grand Prix live. There's no reason for me not to normally, but the one that I missed was the one that I would most like to see. As historically being a McLaren fan, it's an incredibly exciting race for us. But it shows that there's still life out there beyond Mercedes. Do you think it was anything to do with the engine modes and them having to commit to it, or was it just the quirk of being Monza? What do you think it was that threw up such a strange result?
So I think there are a few factors at play. I don't think that's necessarily the engine mode thing, although that seemed to hamper Red Bull more than anybody else, which was interesting, which kind of put them out of the picture a little bit. I think the factors that really came into play were the fact that Bottas had an absolutely abysmal first lap and just tanked down the order. McLaren were really strong this weekend. They were second quickest cars behind the Mercedes, obviously. And obviously Hamilton had a 10-second stop and go penalty to serve for driving into the pit lane when the pit lane was shut, which is a big no-no.
Yeah, how do you think is there a better way for them to deal with it? Because it revealed that obviously at Monza, by the time you've seen a red light at the end of the pit lane, it's too late to duck out of it. So they put the pit lanes around the final corner. The red lights, the no entry signs around the final corner. Is it a case that there should be a better solution? Should it flash up on the driver's dashboard like a red flag or a yellow flag or something? Or what do you reckon could be done about it?
Well, the majority of teams had no problem with it at the end of the day, because they all should have pitted at that particular. Well, most of them should have pitted at that particular time, and most of them cottoned on to the fact that the pit lane was shut. So they told the drivers the pit lane is shut.
Yeah.
So pit. Obviously, that one slipped past Mercedes and Alfa Romeo as well, because Giovinazzi got the same penalty. So it's just a human error at the end of the day. It's something that Hamilton should have spotted. It's something that Giovinazzi should have spotted. It's something that some of the drivers did spot at the end of the day. So they were like, yeah, the lights are flashing, so the pit lane shut, so just carry on.
I kind of think that it should be a dashboard thing, to be honest. I think they were quite lucky that Moore didn't go into the pit lane accidentally. Apparently the only guy that saw it was some guy back at Brackley. So there's obviously some kind of issue where I don't know how the others saw it and Mercedes didn't, unless their guy that was looking at that kind of thing was at the track and Mercedes guy unfortunately wasn't. That might have been a factor. And,
Lewis obviously got round to the pit lane entrance a lot sooner than everyone else.
I think if the pit lane shut because it's a red flag, because that was a really serious situation that could have gone wrong. Therefore, I do feel that it should have been. It should have been a clearer message to the teams, because if a marshal would have been struck, yes, Lewis would have been the guy that hit him. But if there weren't a very clear, very quick warning to that driver to say, do not go down that lane right now, then I actually think that that's on the organisers. And I don't think that the officials, I don't think that's on the driver or the team whatsoever. If a situation is that dangerous, then it should be up to the officials to make it very, very clear that the drivers need to be very careful.
Yeah.
Let's ask Ray what he thinks. Let's ask Ray what he thinks.
Yeah,
when
Ray.
Neil's got his,
Where's Ray?
Neil, we want to see what Ray thought about the Grand Prix.
Hi,
Ray. There he is. Pardon, say again.
Could we hear what Ray thought about the Grand Prix? I assume you watched it.
You can, of course. They would like to know what you thought about the Grand Prix.
Hi, Ray.
Hi, Ray.
Oh, he's gone shy now.
Hi.
Hello, you're right.
What did you think of the Formula One at the weekend?
It's a bit of a tough ask, because I really liked Clark, and of course he had a massive crash, but I really liked Gasly as well. It's a bit of a mixed feelings weekend, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to know that we're finally getting some young winners in Formula One again. Will it be you now in a few years' time?
Hopefully.
Well, I hear you're making your karting debut. How's that going? Have you been doing a bit of karting?
Yeah, I've been doing quite a bit of karting the past few days. I beat my dad in karting. In an underpowered cart.
No, rub it in.
Weight advantage.
Yeah.
I was just very good at keeping the door shut.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Right, thank you very much for all your quiz questions over recent weeks. We've been really loving them.
You're welcome.
When do we get more? His face.
I've got my piece of paper ready
Just
for
say,
my
just,
answers.
just say coming soon. Coming soon.
Coming soon. Coming soon. Coming soon, aka next year.
Somebody's got to keep me on my toes, So
Yeah, we rely on you, Ray, to quiz Craig, who's a master of everything Formula One. Can you think of any question right now that you could ask Craig and see if you can know the answer to it?
Ooh, Craig. Is this the guy that's the Formula One historian?
Yes.
Oh, just one question before I do this for you. Which one of you said I was pure evil a few weeks ago?
At some point, almost all of us.
Yeah, I think that's a general consensus.
Oh! Whoa!
But you're a hero as well, Ray. Don't worry.
Absolutely, you
Thanks.
Yeah, we love you, Ray.
Yeah, I like you guys. I love you guys too.
Quick question before you go. How long do you think it'll be before Ferrari are back on the podium?
Winning will probably be 2022, 23.
Ooh,
Podium could be next year because if they want to get back onto the podium, they really need to make some upgrades to that car. They can literally make enough upgrades to be counted as another car. They're just going to use the same car probably next year, but just have a load of better upgrades on it. Like probably brand new engine, brand new gearbox. Well, I'm not sure gearbox issues or anything, but like brand new handling systems. Okay, I'm being a bit complicated here, so I'll just hand it back to you guys.
No, it's fine. I think there's a job going at Ferrari for you.
There might be a lot of them.
Don't fancy it.
He's like, no, I want to get in with a winning team.
I'm more of a Roger Penske, less of an Enzo Ferrari.
A connoisseur.
Kid's got taste.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Fantastic.
I'm wondering what you saw now. I rubbed my eye. Like, which one of us he was talking to?
Yeah, I don't know. Ray, what did you see then? What did you see?
I didn't hear it. I don't know.
This guy here.
Yeah, Simon.
Yes,
Simon.
Simon.
What did Simon do?
Simon's in trouble. It's his birthday.
I was just
really
looking down
bad
at my.
mistake.
I was just looking down at my
that's a
cats.
very
I
good
swear.
Maybe I should start doing ZoomZoomers, take over from you.
I think you should. I think you should. There you go. All yours.
I will hand it back to you.
He's quite low down.
Ray,
Yeah,
when
you're
you're ready,
right.
Ray. When you're ready, Ray, your Twitter
That'd be
handle and what you do. So tell us about karting. What's it been like?
That good.
Awkward silence.
Were you good? Ray, what did you do? Did you crash or did you win the karting?
First one, I was really good. I kept keeping the door shut. I didn't move around the outside, which I thought was really good in an underpowered cart. And
like to push that
I
bit.
won by about that much,
Ooh.
Nice.
which in my terms is quite a big margin.
Yeah. Yeah, is that to scale?
Yeah, I like insulting him when he's at karting.
You're going
On
to
a
go
scale
karting
of
soon?
1 to 10 is 9.
A 9. When are
Yeah.
you going again, Neil? Ray, when are you going again?
probably 2 weeks time, because last week, Saturday to be exact, I was really exhausted, and my parents were actually proud of this. That in the middle of the race, I had a really underpowered car like this time. I was actually given the chance to start from pole, but then I went down the order. And then literally what happened was I went into the pit with 5 minutes to go, and I said, "Just cut my shit, it's really on the power." I don't really know why I'm doing that in a Nicky Lauda accent.
This is exactly what Nicky Lauda would have done.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not
the
after
spirit
9
of
o'clock.
Nicky Lauda.
Can't be swearing.
I love.
Oh, it's that silence again, isn't it?
The
One
silence
question
again.
for you, Cammie.
Sorry?
Oh,
Yeah, it's the awkward silence.
Oh, I just heard my name. I was like, what? Ah.
did you say you
I
had
have a question for Cammie. Yeah.
Yes. Yep, go on.
So Cammie, what kind of esports do you do?
Have you heard of iRacing?
Oh yes. They
So-
have all kinds of motorsports, don't they?
Yep. So
Were you in the IndyCar iRacing series? What series were you in? Oh, which were you?
I wasn't in the IndyCar
I watched
series.
the highlights.
I wasn't in the IndyCars.
not
I do
IndyCar.
want to do the IndyCars. Last year I was doing Formula Renault, and this year with Team Fordzilla, I'm doing the it's a GTE series, so just GTE cars. So I drive a Ford GT 2017, and I sort of go up against Ferrari 488s and BMW M8s and Porsche 911 RSRs. It's my first season. I'm generally running in the top 10 most of the time, so pretty happy with that. There's some people there that have got sort of 10 years experience. So,
Yeah.
I remember. You had the birthday cake with the go-kart on it, didn't you?
Oh yes, I was really happy with that. Yeah, the cart. Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad.
I actually did the concept for that drawing. Yeah. Was it
Aw.
Cammie that did that?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, it
Yeah,
was.
she was really nice to do that.
Thanks, Cammie.
It's all right. I was surprised when your dad got it printed on a cake. I thought that was genius.
Well, yeah, we get that here in the north. Wherever you are. Maybe you're in the north. I don't really know.
I should try and get more of these guys onto iRacing. Damien, when are you going to come on iRacing? And
well, I've got the new PC and I need you to help me sort it out. It makes noises and has flashy bits on it, and I don't know. I don't even like having cars with traction control on because it freaks me out. So I don't do technology.
Okay.
Yeah, well, you can help me out.
I play real racing.
Sorry, right?
I play Real Racing 3 on mobile, and I never have traction control on. Well, sometimes I do when it's like a BMW Z4 or something.
you'll like iRacing. You'll like iRacing. It's
Really? Can I actually try it sometime?
When all the Formula One drivers couldn't race because of lockdown, they went on to iRacing. So I was actually lucky. I got to race Alex Albon, Charles Leclerc, Callum Ilott, Billy Monger. Several guys from Formula 1, Formula 2, Formula 3. There's a great video of Charles Leclerc and everyone crashes into him and he sort of has to let go of the wheel because the wheel spins in his hand and it smacks his wrist. And that was the race I was in. So that was quite fun. That was being part of that.
You need to get on it,
Were
Ray.
you the one that crashed into him?
No, I was on the other side of the track, I promise.
Ray, have you got a particular car, a motorsport livery that you like the look of that isn't from Formula One? Is there any kind of color scheme that you really like?
Oh, that's easy. Sudoku Porsche Can-Am.
Oh, okay. So what sort of era are we talking? Back in the 70s?
Late 70s, early 80s? Late 70s, early 80s? Can-Am
got
era.
taste.
Yeah, the guy's got taste. Ray, how do you Neil, how do you feel about that? Is that something that you'd have chosen as well?
hear us actually.
Oh yeah, you can't hear us, can you? No.
He's not got his headphones on.
Ray, are we all right to have a chat to your dad again? And we'll say goodbye for this ZoomZoomers. We'll get you on for another one. Is that all right?
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Goodbye.
Thanks ever so much,
Bye.
See
Ray.
ya. Bye.
See you in a bit. Bye.
Bye.
Come back soon.
That made my day.
And his non-union replacement has returned.
Oh, it's Neil again.
I'll just go because it's just going to be a disappointment from here on in.
Fantastic. How's he doing? Is he all right?
He's great. Yeah. He's back at school, so he's a bit tired, but he is doing great. Thanks.
He doesn't seem tired. He seems full of beans. So we'll have him on another time if that's all right.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So he threw the Sunoco Porsche livery at us. Is that something that you would have chosen as well as one of the theme of the week for this week? Of course, is motorsport liveries that aren't in F1 that we find really interesting.
That's a really odd coincidence because I was thinking about this earlier on, and the one I chose was the Sunoco Penske Ferrari 512. Now, I didn't tell him that. I didn't point that out to him at all.
Yeah.
So it's just. I mean, I'm not a Ferrari guy, I have to say, but that is just something else. Although I did choose another one, which was Bertie Fisher's Super Legacy.
I've never seen that before.
Was just it's just an awesome car. Fisher was an amazing driver. He's just stunningly fast.
Yeah.
But,
did you find it tough to find some then, or was it quite easy to think of? Because we had quite a few in the group chat, didn't we? And I think.
Well, I think Near stole a lot of people's thunder. But
Near, who knew he wasn't going to be here today, and then just
exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I thought because I actually I tend to prefer sports car racing, or WEC as it is now, to Formula One. So thank you, Cammie. I can see your comment there. It's just so kind of you.
He's so sweet.
I know he is. That's why he gets away with everything. Anyway, I'm just going to shut up now because I'm a disappointment after my son. So other people can now pick their liveries.
Well, we'll throw to Joe next then, because Joe with the colourful shirt must be an absolute design guru, I guess. So what do we think? Camouflaging against the shirt.
Sorry, I just realised I was on mute. That's my main pick. I don't know why. I love the NASCAR liveries generally, but this one just looks so bright and colourful. And I guess I'm a sucker for marketing because sometimes I buy M&Ms just because the livery is cool. So
you didn't want the Trump 2020 NASCAR?
No, I'm good with that. That. Yeah.
Excellent. Thanks. So Cammie, what did you go for then? As another advocate of design, good design, what have you gone for? You've done your own liveries, of course, so I guess one of those might pop up. But
I'm talking without the mic. I can't really do my own livery. That would be a bit big-headed. But God, why is the phone deciding not to load it now? You know when you turn the phone off and then rather than remembering the page, it decides it wants to reload it again. Here we go. Come on.
Cammie, the technology whisperer.
Where's the camera?
Yeah.
There it is.
Where's the camera? yeah, fantastic looking car.
Oh, is it blurry? But yeah, the XJR9 and the silk cut purple. I never liked the one that was purple and white. I always felt like that was a bit of a more messy design. I just love that deep purple.
Yeah.
Almost a Cadbury's purple, I suppose, but
yeah,
it's a shame. All the I think the best liveries seem to always come from the tobacco companies.
Yeah, I can see that cropping up quite a bit tonight. So we'll see if there's many that I suppose we've had a couple already that haven't. We've had oil, we've had chocolate. That's true. So not too bad so far. LA, what do you reckon?
What in my car?
Yeah, for what sort of livery, motorsport livery, do you think looks good that isn't an F1? Oh, actually, you said you might actually ignore the rules as always.
Rebel. Yeah, I've been a rebel. Yeah. Because I don't watch any other motorsport, so Picking random things that I don't care about. No, I'm sorry. This is I did think about some older designs because, you know, there's those McLarens that, you know, epitomizes that certain era of Senna and Prost that just brings back such nostalgic, amazing motor racing memories. So I kind of toyed with that idea and then toyed with the Williams idea because, you know, they've kind of been almost every colour livery under the sun, to be fair, since they started in the 70s. I thought maybe be a nice ode to them this weekend to mention some of theirs, you know, more so the 94 you know, Senna's car for obvious reasons, and even Jacques Villeneuve's, you know, 97 car, which I was a big Villeneuve fan. So, you know, again, I toyed with that idea. But I just cannot help myself come back to this year's W11 because I just think that this is the most beautiful Formula One car I think I've ever seen in my entire life. I always used to like the black ones anyway, you know, like the John Player Special, and you know, there's always something a bit more foreboding about that black livery. And I just feel that not just the campaign, you know, not just the reason why they changed it, but it's the way this design and the way they came up with it so quickly. And they've still got all the stars on it. They've still got the red star on it as well. You know, and I even like the way they've changed their suits. You know, they even look better in the black race suits. I just like the whole thing. And I know that everyone gets a bit bored with them winning all these races this season, but you can't take away the fact that that car is just amazing, and I would absolutely do anything to see that on track. The way it's just looks like it's a hot knife through butter. And yeah, so sorry, but I've picked a wrong car.
No, that's right. I think it's a livery and a car that's going to go down as an iconic car, definitely, if they continue to dominate this season. But we'll see how that goes. But yeah, no, but we'll excuse you the F1 angle, seeing you don't watch any other motorsport, but you're right for Formula 2. And that's...
Well, I do watch it, but I was like, I can't help myself. Formula One's my sport, so sorry.
And Neil's showing us a touring car. Is it a Williams?
It's the Williams touring car. Yeah, it's a Williams touring car.
When I was thinking about this, I like the Blend 37 version. That's one of the ones that I was thinking maybe as a non-F1 livery. That was the green Nescafe Blend 37. Richard, how about you?
Thankfully, it hasn't been taken yet, but I would choose the computer vision Metro from the 80s.
Yeah,
my childhood basically. Seeing that bomb through the forest and stuff on telly. So yeah, be that one, I think.
Excellent, thank you. Ian, how about you?
I'm going to go for, it's colourful as you might guess. So I'm going to go for the Jeff Koons, the BMW he did at the Le Mans, but mainly because, and it looks wicked, like all the angles on it, and the back looks amazing as well. But that's because I love the M1 that was done by Andy Warhol, which very famously, that literally he painted and it raced. Like it didn't even like varnish it. He painted it and it went and raced at Le Mans. So I absolutely love the M1. But in that series, it's the Liechtenstein one I really love because it's on the Liechtenstein, you'll see there's a sunrise down the side of the car. Yeah. But you only see it when it's like properly side on. That it's a sunrise on the Liechtenstein Ben-Day dots. And yeah, that's the one. They're the ones. And I made them on my own area. That's the Laser Tools E30.
Oh, nice
version as well.
That's good.
Excellent.
That's really cool.
But yeah, that's what I love about the Jeff Koons is the rear where it like pops out the back.
Yeah, that looks quite Ian Cook, to be honest.
I love it. I just that car because I got to see them all when they brought them all over for the London Olympics because BMW sponsored it, and they had all of the art cars all in one car park, and it was just, I think I was there for most of the day just pouring over them because they're just amazing to see. So BMW art car, I'd say.
Excellent, fantastic. Now, Ian, Alan took a bit of a shot to the midriff there when you mentioned that BMW M1. Alan, was that on your list by any chance?
Well, given I had a list, and then it was as if Nia had hacked into my list and then posted them all in the thing earlier on. So I wasn't sure who would have chosen what. But yes, my choice was the Warhol Pro Car M1 from Le Mans, which was 6th overall and 2nd in its class. So yes,
we have stats.
my choice. Well, yeah. Well, I figure everyone else can do race stats, and I never know any. So I thought when I found them, I thought I'd just write them down. But yeah, I'm going for the Pro Car for the Warhol M1 as well.
Excellent, thanks for that, Craig. How about you?
Yeah, I had a bit of, well, only a little bit of time to think about this, but a couple of honourable mentions. I think have to go to the contemporary factory BMW touring car in its striking black livery. I think that works incredibly well. And also to the 1993 Dick Simon racing car driven by Raoul Bocel, which was sponsored by Duracell, but it looked in such a way that it just looked like a Duracell battery, and I thought that was fantastic. But the one that I've gone for is another NASCAR, actually. It's another contemporary NASCAR. Bizarre. It is Corey LaJoie's Daytona 500 NASCAR from last year, which featured his own face.
Brilliant.
But what's more is that they decided to revive that livery for a race this year.
Oh, very good. COVID spare.
Yeah. So I thought that was incredibly creative. I've incorporated that design into a livery of my own when I've been sim racing.
Yeah.
By accident, actually, because I kind of forgot that existed when I came up with that design of myself. But yeah, there are loads and loads of really, really nice designs. But I thought I'd go for something that's totally out there. In the same way that Ian has, really, but from a totally different perspective. But some of the art cars, those art cars are absolutely fantastic, and loads of awesome liveries. Even contemporary ones that I think work incredibly well. I remember one a few years ago, which was sponsored by the video game Doom, and I thought that was brilliant. For example, and there are just so many, just plenty of really, really cool, fun liveries that you can find wherever you look, pretty much.
Yeah. So it's a really good way to attract attention and bring new fans into the sport. If you happen to have the most eye-catching car, it's actually the one that a lot of fans go for to begin with.
It's going to be eye-catching if it's got your face on it, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely, especially in the rearview mirror of the person in front. Cool. Naomi, have you had a chance to think of one of these?
Yeah. I'm obviously gonna go for Formula E because I thought I'd be pretty safe over there. What was really lovely about early Formula E was there were very few manufacturers, which meant there was a whole pit lane full of new brand identities that we hadn't seen done to death over the years. So the one I wanted to mention, because it just looks so beautiful, was the Amla Naguri with its metallic blue livery, which was incredible. It's hard to show on the camera there, but it was incredibly bright and incredibly fluorescent.
It didn't work nearly as well on TV as it did in real life.
It was incredible in real life to see it.
So cool.
When one of my favorite photographs of it, which I couldn't find, is when the car is stripped down and all of the body panels, because there are 4 cars for each team in Gen 1. All of the body panels lined up parallel in the sunshine in Buenos Aires, and this thing is just reflecting the sunshine. Absolutely stunning. But I also have, I basically just picked it to show this off. My friend Carlo was an agency called Pangea Creative. They designed the livery. So years ago, he sent me a box of swag, and in it was a print of all of the concept art for the car.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
very
cool.
Building up from a little, like a watercolor, basically, up to a full render. And
wow.
It's one of my favorite possessions. It's the first thing that goes on the wall if I move home or decorate or anything. I absolutely adore it. But yeah, so shout out to Formula E.
But
definitely.
Maybe that gives an idea of just how reflective it was.
Yeah, that's a really good photo.
Well, that wasn't Buenos Aires, I'm afraid. That was Donington. But yeah, it just how reflective everything is. It was like a blue mirror driving around, but you never really got that on camera.
Yeah. No, it's such a shame that these things don't really pop in over the TV, but all the more reason to go watch these things in real life if you get the chance to. Now, Simon, I know you've not had a chance really to have a think about this, but off the back of what everyone else is saying, I don't suppose you've got anything off the top of your head that isn't an F1 livery, but is still incredibly eye-catching.
Yeah, no. I've had quite a bit of time to think about it, and I'm a huge motorsport fan. Love F1. I've been a BTCC fan since the late '80s. I'm that old, and I'm going to go with that. I mean, I'm going to call obviously Neil out on this because he definitely stole this idea telepathically. There's no way that he didn't, and maybe even LA a little bit as well. But with Williams in mind, I was thinking a little bit left field. 1999 BTCC. Independent, if I can find within this, that's the independent Renault Laguna in silver and black, and that was driven. That was by Arena Motorsport, some of the employees are still on Twitter avidly quite now. But the car was built by Williams in 1996. But I love the simplicity of the silver and the black, but with no sponsorship. It was such a last-minute deal. It's just the silver fade into black. And I saw the car live obviously quite a few times, and the obvious. I'm a Volvo man, so obviously there's the, the 1994 Volvo Estate. Everyone thinks that's iconic, but yeah, I go for something simplistic, bit of a fade, done. 1999.
That's beautiful. I'd never seen that before. That's stunning.
Yeah.
It's almost like a bit of a test livery because it hasn't got the sponsors on it, but that just adds to that lovely purity. And the gradient is actually for those days wasn't seen a lot on cars really. It was usually just block colours and.
Well, back then the cars were painted, so there was no wrapping. It was the stickers with the sponsors. The car colours were painted, so that was a spray fade the night before the race. It was that much of a last minute deal.
Wow, fantastic. Well, thanks for bringing that to our attention. And you mentioned there about the Volvo touring cars. And one thing about the Volvo is that it appears on our infamous Trackday owned scrap wheel. So I don't know if you've had a chance to see any ZoomZoomers where we have the Trackday owned scrap feature, but all our guests get the chance to do this. So what I'm going to do is share a screen and we'll talk you through it when we do that. So if you guys can let me know, as always, if you can see the Trackday owned scrap wheel, you might go see a black screen before it comes up, and I can see a few of you there. So if you have a thumbs up, I can see Simon nodding. So Alan, can you see it?
I can see it now.
Yeah,
excellent, brilliant. Okay, so it's a fairly simple concept. If you've ever heard something like snog, marry, avoid, it's like that but with cars. So you have a track day, one you need to track day, one you need to own, and the other one gets scrapped. So we're going to spin this wheel 3 times. So it's all for you, Simon. Everyone else has already had a go at this. We're going to spin the wheel 3 times. When it spins and stops, the small image will become larger so we can actually see what the car is. We'll do that 3 times, and then we can decide between track day, own, and scrap. So we'll give it a first spin. I'll give it a few seconds because I'm always a bit ahead of you guys. Okay, so the first car that you've got to decide between is the Renault Clio V6. So that's the first one on the list. The next one. You can probably predict it. This always stitches us up, doesn't it? This it's hard to say it's not a fix, but then all this tends to happen. So the Volvo British touring car. That's
this thing's possessed, Alan, I tell you.
It is. It really is. And your third car, Simon. We have another Renault. This one's the Renault Sport Spider. So you've got to track day one of those. You can own one of them, and the other one's got to go in the bin. What do you reckon?
Well, I'm going to offend so many people now. I'm really not a fan of the rear engine V6. If I'm honest, I've driven a couple and find them quite unimaginative. So I would scrap the Clio. I would track day the Spider. Definitely, I love them. And for everyday use, chuck a dog in the back of an 850. Done.
Perfect solution to carrying a dog around. Yeah, fantastic. Oh, I'm glad that came up there. Thanks for doing that. How does everyone feel about that? I mean, Neil, would you have done the same thing there with scrapping the Clio V6 straight off, do you think? Or
No. I think I would have scrapped the Sport Spider because I never liked it. I would have dailied the V6 and tracked the 850R.
Oh, fantastic!
Is it me that the Spider had a very gorgeous front end, but then I think the back end of it was very ugly?
It was a bit
No,
kind of
it was-
afterthought, I think.
It was nice, but the problem with it was it came out at the same time as the Lotus Elise, and it had an aluminium chassis, but whereas the Lotus was bonded and riveted to make it incredibly stiff and lightweight, the Sport Spider was welded, so it was actually quite heavy for what it was.
And it didn't have a roof.
consequently, and it didn't have a, and it originally didn't have a windscreen. I
Didn't have a
remember
yeah.
Oh.
I remember getting a passenger ride in one of the first ones that just had the air duct, and if you drove up close behind a truck, you just feel your head go forward like that because you get stuck. Honestly, it was true.
You know, I've driven quite a few cars without windscreens, and I've never had that effect before. How close were you to that truck?
Very close.
I'll keep an eye out for it next time I'm in a windscreenless car. Sorry, Cammie.
Regarding liveries, has anyone heard the news about Renault's plan?
Yeah.
And what people think about the idea. They teased an image of a blue, red and white car, but obviously the possibilities, because I talk sometimes to the Renault livery designer on Twitter, and I've teased him a bit for how easy his job must be, because let's face it, the Renault hasn't really changed for 4 seasons. I think it was Jolyon Palmer driving when it had its last slight change, but sort of what people think about what colours they'll go. That's it. Yeah. What people think.
I quite like the idea of having Alpine back, and obviously if it comes back, it's got to be blue. But I was also looking forward to Alonso being in a Renault, an out-and-out Renault, and I think that's a really strong relationship between Alonso and Renault, and perhaps that's getting a bit lost there. But yeah, as Neil shown us there, the Alpine colours still look fantastic. They did a Le Mans car recently, a concept for it maybe 2 years ago. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they actually raced it. Yeah. So from my point of view, I love the colours. I think it's perhaps a shame that we're not going to have that Alonso racing in a Renault, which I think, you know, knowing that he's won his championships back with Renault a million years ago now, that would have been quite nice to see. But yeah, what does everyone else think? Craig, what do you reckon?
Well, the Alpine brand is in sports cars with Signatech, but I don't think that's like a proper factory effort as what. Well, this is only even a rebranding, isn't it? But I think it's really neat. I do think that it's a good opportunity for Renault to really put a different another one of its brands out there really into the fore. I know that they have been trying to promote, the Alpine brand a bit more, and it does give the opportunity for there to be a really, really cool, nice design on the grid for next season. Because I think the current Renaults are a little bit sort of lacking a little bit, to be honest. I think they're lacking a bit of yellow. They're very heavy on the blacks, aren't they? The current Renault livery. Whereas
I think head on they're quite distinctive, and you can see the yellow when they're kind of dicing for position head on. But yeah, from the side they're just black cars with a couple of flashes of yellow and a tiny little flash of blue.
I thought they were going to run Alpine as like a B team, to Alpha Tauri, but I was quite disappointed when it was just a rebrand. I thought it'd be quite cool to have the Renault and Alpine, because of the lack of cars on the grid and the lack of opportunities for young drivers coming through, especially when you've got Raikkonen who's still going, Alonso who's coming back, Hamilton's not retiring anytime soon.
Yeah. From the road car point of view, quite a few people were saying, well, what about Renault Sport? And then we're pointing out that really Renault Sport really isn't right at the minute. So it was unlikely that there was that, it actually made more sense for it to be Alpine. Because now I'd missed this bit, and I'm going to say unusually for me, I'd missed that the chap who was in charge of Abarth and Cupra is now at Renault. So the chances are that we might start to see, rather than Renault Sport versions of models, a sort of Alpine branded version of models, because that's what you did with Abarth and that's what you did with Cupra at Seat. How you've got the whole silly Cupra as a separate brand, but really it's the same car with a copper badge on. There's a likelihood of that kind of thing starting to happen with Renaults and Alpine in that sort of way. So maybe an Alpine.
So could we see say Alpine versions of these Renaults maybe in other championships like BTCC even? If there's an Alpine version in the same way as they did with like say the Cupras. The Cupras are now going to be racing. Well, they're going to be racing BTCC next year. So it would
make sense. It would make more sense than it being Renault Sport. Sorry.
They need to go back to rallying, surely, because that's where Alpine built its brand.
Yeah.
Mm.
Maybe that's
The
long-term.
the problem with rally though, it just hasn't got the same. F1 has got the eyes on it, whereas I love rallying. I love what it does, but it just hasn't got. It's behind paywalls, and how do you? How does anybody actually know there was a rally Estonia at the weekend?
I didn't see it.
And that's the trick. It's about selling. I guess it's about selling cars, and they want the eyes on the Alpine brand rather than Renault Sport that's kind of tucked away in a dealership.
Exactly. They're ready, and they already have a Formula One team. Rallying is incredibly expensive and not something you'd want to be getting in right at the second, because there's about to be a whole load of regulation changes and power plant changes and all sorts of stuff coming through over the next couple of years in WRC.
They've got to bring back the rally group, the Group B cars. Bring back the excitement of the Group B.
The current ones are just as the ridiculous thing is we all remember the Group B stuff, but the current ones, thanks, Rich. But the current cars are just as quick.
Yeah.
Point to point. The current ones are just absolute nutters.
They're just for some reason they're just not that. There's not that appetite for it from the viewing public, and it's such a shame because rallying's doing everything right. I think it's just people aren't watching it.
Where is it televised? Even like, what channels would you have to go to watch rally now?
You can now. It's normally Andrew that watches it from our point of view, but he gets it on the free, so it can't be that difficult.
It's nice.
Channel 5.
I think it's Channel 5, and also if you follow on the Red Bull channel, if you're Apple TV or any of these things, or any of these streamy sticks, then you can follow it on there, because of course they're quite a heavy sponsor of one of the teams. Don't ask me which one.
Don't Red Bull, they own it, don't they? I think they own the rights to rally. Red Bull do, I think.
Quite possibly.
Yeah, the fact that we're debating this and none of us really seem to know is quite indicative, I think.
Yeah.
To what extent are manufacturers involved in current rally with works teams? I hear about Citroen and Ford.
There's Citroen, Toyota, Hyundai, and then there's
Ford.
M Sport.
Ford.
And that's really the top level. Once you're down from that, then there's Skoda are really involved in WRC2, and generally the same again, but with a dialed back car.
Okay.
I think people want to see Lancias and like Cosworths, and I don't know if people have the passion for Skoda and Hyundai. They just sort of go, oh, that's a sort of a dreary hatchback, and it bears no resemblance to the road car.
No. Now, here's the bit where I'm going to disagree with you, Cammie. The thing is that they do bear resemblance with the road cars, and that's partly where the challenge is, to be honest. People want stuff to be batshit, quite frankly. And the trouble is that it's not.
Yeah.
So there's something they really do bear a resemblance to the road cars, although transmission and all that kind of stuff doesn't really. I mean, the closest is going to be the everybody get a drink, thank you, Andrew, the GR Yaris that's coming through, because it will actually be available as a four-wheel drive fancy diffed road car, which we haven't had at the top level of rallying for quite a long time. That's why it's a 3-cylinder 1.6 as well.
Will that be the same though? Because I thought it was they weren't going to use it or something. Or
well, they're not. You see, that's the trouble, is that for next year they're not. It was all meant to be, and then for next year they're not, because they were meant to be running it instead. Or was it this? No, next year they're not, because they're meant to be running it instead of the current style. You know, the same kind of shape as my car, and then. Or the one up on the shelf behind me there that you can't see for the reflections. But then they've deferred it a year essentially for that body shape, because that's when the hybrid regulations start to come through.
Right.
And there's a whole load of grumbling about whose power plant it is, because of course, if it was going to be a hybrid one, Toyota were going to be all over that, because they're quite good with hybrids. But then they're saying, no, you've got to use this different common power plant across all of them, which is going to be hybrid, but it's not going to be your hybrid. And they're like, don't really like that too much. Thank you.
No, that doesn't really fit with what Toyota want to get out of what is basically a marketing campaign, is to run around with nobody watching while using someone else's hybrid power plant. Doesn't really seem worth doing, does it?
Well, just to bring it back to Alpine and Renault for a second. Interesting what you just said there, Damien, about the marketing exercise. Obviously, from what I understand, Alpine aren't doing so well in sales figures as a brand. So, you know, there is a choice to either ditch it or invest. And I think, as you said, the new guy coming from Cooper is going to try and invest. So the cynic side of me says that this is obviously to try and get Alpine as a more known brand. But at the same time, Renault over the last 10 or 8 years have had a pretty bad sort of stick of it with, you know, media and stuff about their engines in the past 5 or 6 years ago. Is this a chance for Renault to set aside that name so that the Renault name isn't tarnished if they don't start winning championships in the next 4 years, and they can kind of plump it on Alpine? And if it doesn't do well, they'll ditch the brand anyway.
Yeah, I think it's. I was worried it was the sort of soft exit from Formula One, which I think has always been a big threat with Renault.
Yeah, it's justified.
I do wonder if it's got a link to do with, because obviously Renault and Nissan have an alliance, and at the moment it's got in branding with the Infinity as well. So, and obviously there's been a lot of at Nissan and the top of Nissan, and there's been a power struggle between Renault and Nissan. So I do wonder if there's something to do with that as well, of how these two brands are parting ways somehow, and you know, so you know, Renault have gone Alpine, you know, the team is ours, and it's not a Nissan associated product, maybe.
Yeah, it could be any one of those things. Yeah, okay.
I think Simon's right. I think Renault can only go for so much longer without winning something before somebody really gets annoyed. And you know, it's been a long time, and they had rubbish engines for so long. Now they're in the middle of the pack pretty solidly, and that's kind of it, you know. And they pulled out of Formula E to focus on their Formula One program, and that's not done anything. You know, they swapped out for Nissan. So yeah, I do feel like it's the beginning of a disappearing act, because if they can't win even with the great Alonso in the car, that's a big mark against the brand, really.
And they're not going to have McLaren hopefully getting podiums and things next year either, with McLaren switching to Mercedes. So that's another way that they're going to struggle as well. Yeah, interesting times over there. Okay, so before we move on to before we finish up with Craig's fact of the day, if you happen to have one this week, Craig, we'll do some red-green questions. So for people who haven't seen this before, what I'll ask the guys to do now, and for Simon, if you haven't seen this before, we're going to have some quick-fire questions now, where if you want to agree or say yes, you hold up something green. If you want to disagree, you hold up something red. If you haven't got anything red or green to hand, then that's fine. You can just put your thumb up or down. I think
red and blue today.
Red and blue. Oh, this is just telling us that you're in pain, isn't it?
Yeah, I might disappear in a minute.
Okay, no worries. Thanks for staying with us so long, bless you. Cammie, I can't. Oh, you've got okay, so that's green. Anything
Excellent.
red, Cammie? You're just going to write red. Yeah, okay. We'll see how this goes. Okay, there's not many this week, but we'll throw these at you. So, actually, this one's quite a good one to start off with, having spoken about Renault. This is more about road cars. There should be more yellow cars.
Anything that's not grey or white or black. Come on.
Okay. LA's not committed yet. She's going red. Okay. Next one. Not many of these about cars, by the way. We seem to have got through all the car questions. So, next one. Twitter is better than Instagram. Oh, Naomi's going to damage our camera in a minute. Ian's on the Instagram side. Everyone else has gone Twitter. Okay. Oh, Ian. Okay. TV is better than radio. Oh, it's a big think from a lot of people.
I don't really watch either these, or watch or listen to either these days. So.
Well, this one might be more for you then, Craig. The next one: streaming is better than TV. Green. Neil likes a bit of telly, and so does LA. Okie dokie. Next one, big one. Next one: coronavirus is a hoax. I say this because I went to a car show on yesterday, and they weren't obviously letting people in the cars, but one camper van owner said, "Oh, I'm not a believer," and I was like, "Oh, okay, that solved that then." So I thought, well, you know, I'll chuck it out there as a red-green question, see if there's half the green come up, but no, it was red. Good. Okay, I'm glad. Next one. Big dogs are better than small dogs. Oh, split from the dogs.
Little
All dogs
yucky things that people can't control.
I just like dogs.
Just like dogs. You know, it's the dog option. Yeah. Okay.
Like
Next.
dog, but then like you can wrestle with a big dog.
Yeah.
That's how I spend every evening.
And then
Thanks for the image.
It's warmer when you cuddle it because it's bigger.
Okay. Yeah.
You get more space on the sofa with a small dog. There you go. That's...
You do.
That's true.
If you have a small dog, you might as well have a cat.
Oh, controversial.
Yeah, but it's like a cat, but without the up yours attitude. You see, it's like a cat that loves you, Ian, not one that hates you.
Yeah, our cat doesn't love us. Our cat just wakes us up, and then she's like, "Yeah, all right."
I think there's a neat and tidy explanation of the mentality of cats and dogs. And dogs think, this human looks after me, feeds me, loves me. He must be God. Whereas a cat goes, this human feeds me, loves me, takes care of me. I must be God.
Basically covers it, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's fantastic. I'm lucky to have a medium-sized dog, I'd say. So yeah, I think medium's about right. I'd say that's a big dog, Neil.
Yeah, it's a big dog.
He's beautiful.
A big boy or girl.
He's a greyhound called Wiz.
Wiz.
Superb.
Fantastic. How's he? Is he or she any good at go-karting?
He's probably about as quick as a go-kart in short bursts. Yeah, I'd say. But
there's a race we need to see.
He's not very good at kind of staying on one line, so I think he'd get done for the 2 moves in the braking zone. 5 second.
What the name you've given him though? You just have to imagine Neil out on a walk, and if the dog runs, he has to go whiz. Whiz.
This is a thing that happens.
Yeah. Oh dear, I have a nice problem with my dog when I need to shout for mine to come back. A lot of you know what my dog's called, and it's quite funny yelling across the park saying, "Janet."
Who names a dog Janet?
Yeah, I've got a cat called Dermot and a dog called Janet. So anyway, next one. There's only a couple more left. Coca-Cola is nicer than Pepsi.
I don't know. They're both pretty horrible.
Yeah,
pretty horrible. That's our sponsorship gone. Cheers, Cammie.
Ginger beer is nicer than both.
Yes.
Okay, ginger beer. We'll get on the phone. And the final one. I'd rather watch a club race live than an international race on TV.
Yeah, why not?
But
A mixed bag, yeah.
again.
Formula 4.
I'd rather watch a club race, like something that's just happening down the road at Snetterton or something, than watch that live than an international race on TV. You weren't really aware of club racing until now, were you, LA?
No, I don't know what that means. There's nothing like that around here.
There are a few things better than a really good Formula Ford race.
Totally agree. Totally agree, Craig. Great point.
Yeah, they have
Great
like
point.
a lot of them meets around here, you know, where there's like boys with their fast cars and they put holes in their exhaust to sound great.
So what is around?
What's wrong with that?
What neck of the woods are you, LA? Are you up north?
I am. I'm north of Manchester. Yeah.
I know you're a Man City fan, so I guess you're probably around that area. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm a proper Man City fan. Yeah, no, I mean, to be fair, I mean, still the majority of Man City fans are from Manchester. So I'm sure that will change over the next decade. But yeah, I'm a proper man. But I used to support. Well, I didn't support. I used to go and watch both when I was younger.
Did you? Ooh.
Yeah.
Hedge your bets.
I used to be quite neutral, really, because I used to go and watch different teams with different members of the family. So I'd just go and watch anyone that anyone would take me to. And then when I was in my 20s, I used to work for one of the players at United. And then I did a bit of this and that for a player at City. So.
Oh, go on. What are the scandals?
Oh, well, you haven't got enough time for that. But I tried to have a conversation with a pundit kind of person online. Was it yesterday, the day before, about Manchester United, and I just sent like a DM, and she blocked me.
No.
And she's supposed to be a professional, so I'm going to call her out. I don't know why. I don't know what her beef is with me. I don't even know her, but she obviously knows who I am. So we'll get to the bottom of it with some help for some friends. We could get to the bottom of what her problem is with me. Anyone joining in?
What's this, like mass report?
Yeah, I'm a bit scared, LA, to be honest.
Oh yeah, well, some scary stuff going on at the minute.
Yeah, don't get involved.
I'm glad Simon and I are bigging up the Southeast Massive, though.
We are rearing our few of our numbers.
Yeah, Toby Trice, who's often on here, is from Deal in Kent.
Doesn't get much more southeast than Dover Deal.
Yeah, he ran out of England and had to stop. So yeah, I think that's. In fact, we've only got Britain and Ireland on tonight, haven't we? There's no.
Thank you for not putting the two together.
Well, Alan counts as Scottish. If you listen to his accent, surely.
Yeah.
Corby, mate. Corby.
Well, that's like plastic jocks around here. Yeah.
Plastic jocks. Okay.
Oh, great. Well, let's end with Craig's fact of the week, if that's all right, Craig, because I always like finishing up on a little nugget of information that we haven't heard before. So if you've got one there, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah. Speaking of Kent, I'm not too far away from Kent. It's basically a toss-up between Brands Hatch and Thruxton for my local track, which is not a bad place to be, really. But yeah, going back to the Grand Prix this weekend, there was a red flag, obviously, after Charles Leclerc decided to have a small confrontation with the wall, which damaged the barrier quite heavily, which brought out the red flag. First time in more than 3 years that we've had a red flag in the middle of a Grand Prix. Which is the longest gap since between 2003 Brazil and 2007 Europe for the longest gap. The most recent time prior to that it came out was the 2017 Azerbaijan Grand Prix, when I think the best way to put it was mayhem happened, and there was just debris basically all over the circuit, the streets of Baku. So they had the red flag it to clear it up, and that prompted the famous moment. If you'll probably find it on YouTube, where Kimi Räikkönen was screaming to his team, "Hey, steering wheel! Somebody tell him to give it to me."
Like, gloves and steering wheel, gloves and steering wheel.
That famous race. But yeah. So,
what do we think about the red flag? And it sort of surprised me that a driver could get out of the car, have a drink, go off, see the stewards, this kind of thing. It just seemed a bit strange when after a Grand Prix is finished, they have to get weighed and everything like that before they even touch anything, in case the old days of putting a spanner in the pockets and that kind of thing. Even taking on water you can't do until you've been weighed. But I found that quite strange. Did anybody else think that was? I mean, Craig, I suppose I'm talking mainly to you about this.
Yeah, I found that strange, and I completely forgot that was even permitted. To be honest, because I don't think it is permitted in certain other categories, which can pose a slight discomfort issue for certain drivers. If, for example, it's a rain delay and you're stuck in the car for a very long time and you need to do the thing.
Well, you just go, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. You just go. But yeah, I was quite surprised at that. I can't recall all of the technical sporting regulations off the top of my head, but yeah, to prompt this really bizarre moment where Lewis Hamilton went to see the stewards in the middle of a Grand Prix, which I'm pretty sure has never happened before.
Well, that was going to be my next question to you. Off the top of your head, which I know is hard because there's lots of stuff rummaging around in there. Then I wondered whether you knew of a time when a driver had actually been able to go and talk to the stewards about their penalty halfway through the race. But I guess that's something that doesn't really get recorded anywhere, does it, as a thing? So, but yeah,
it's quite like watching drivers run back for the T car back in the day or something.
Oh yeah, that's fantastic. Well, you're completely injured and not just ignoring it because they had to get back to the pits, and then they only realised they were injured after the race. It's always good to see them running on adrenaline only.
It was always more amusing when both of the team's cars were involved in the crash. So you had the drivers going, "Was it my turn? Is it your turn? is the car set up for you? Is the car set up for me? What happens? And then
It just went to the number one driver, didn't it?
Yeah, I think they always used to have a set up, didn't they? For one.
They did at one point, but before that, it was a case of if you got to the pits quickest and jumped in it, they couldn't really stop you. I think back in the.
You remember the Spa one that we were talking about?
Yeah.
98.
I'm pretty sure there were quite a lot of drivers that obviously needed that spare car.
I think Panis and Trulli were teammates at that point, I think. And I think they just basically had to race each other back to the pits to whoever got there first got the car.
Yeah,
probably quite good if they're the same size or a similar size, isn't it? But if you can imagine someone like Checo and Stroll probably trying to get into a spare car that
Barrichello broke down on the warm-up lap once and he had to run back to the pits and they had to change out the pedals because Barrichello brakes with his right foot.
Yeah.
So they had to change out Schumacher's pedals for Barrichello's all within the space of about 5-10 minutes before the race started.
Wow, that's amazing.
And
I think
they got him out in time.
I think Tom was telling me that Schumacher went out and Irvine's seat was in the car. It doesn't even make sense. But somebody had their teammate's seat in the car and couldn't even move in it. But it's amazing because it's just I miss that stuff. I think that's really cool.
Did you hear Naomi about?
I was hoping that would happen in quite a few races as well. I think it's great. Must be money though, eh?
Yeah, that's why they got rid of T cars. Yeah, just because of money. I think I like the fact that there isn't that second option now, and it does really help with reliability that you haven't got a spare there. I was going to say, can you remember talking about Ferraris and Irvine and Schumacher? There was a race where some water got into the communication systems or something, and the two drivers could talk to each other. I don't know if that's something maybe that Craig could remember or something, but some wires got frazzled, and then Ferrari then debated actually having that as a feature, but quickly fought against it.
I've often wondered if that actually would be a good idea.
Yeah, I think it accidentally happened to Ferrari once. I'm pretty sure it did in the Irvine Schumacher days, and they decided not to go with it.
There'd be a lot of swearing.
If they were racing each other, yeah.
Like Hamilton and Rosberg talking to each other during the race.
Yeah, can you imagine that? Yeah.
Actually, is there a way? I don't know if there is. Is there a way to watch a Formula One race through one comms channel for the entire race?
I think if you have F1 TV, but obviously with F1 TV you can only get it in certain countries. I think you're able to do that, but I'm not entirely sure.
I just think it's such a unique perspective on the race, and it's only been, only occasionally working in race teams you'd be given a set of headphones, and that's the way you watch the race effectively. And it's just a completely different way to enjoy it. It'd be really lovely just to hear every strategy call, every update. I mean, super nerdy, but I mean, look who we are.
They don't have to. I don't think they have to do every single one, and I don't think that they do put every single one on, obviously on purpose. Gather, but I was going to say something and I forgot what I was going to say.
You're all right, Ella, don't worry.
I did watch a DTM race that way a couple of years ago when MotoGP star Andrea Dovizioso made a cameo appearance, and because the actual broadcasters behind the paywall in the UK, they do give a couple of free options on YouTube, and I was like, let's sit and watch on board with them and listening as to how like all the procedures went and all that sort of stuff. So that's a reminder on the radio quite often about things like safety car protocol and all that sort of stuff, which I thought was really interesting. So it does give a really different perspective on how a race actually goes for a driver.
I was going to say, do you remember it was BBC, wasn't it, that were you could faff around, couldn't you? And go on the onboards and sort of go on a track view and what's like a graphic of where they all were, and that was really good at the pit stops. And I kind of think they might have developed that a bit more had they kept the rights, and possibly we would have had a bit more comms, like Naomi said, but they lost it, didn't they? And it was a bit of a shame because I really enjoyed faffing around with all that stuff.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic fun, and in this age of entertainment and coming through data and being able to choose what you want, it's if all that data's there, you could proper geek out on any of that stuff. I'd quite happily. I mean, I loved being in garages even during touring cars and just watching the numbers. You can just get obsessed with just watching your own little battles, and if you're involved with a team like Naomi was saying, to have that single line of like, you really get involved for that team and feel everything for them, and you end up on their side. And in the same way as if you're watching a nature documentary and it's a predator against prey, it depends whether the nature documentary is about the prey or the predator, whether you want that to get eaten or not, to feed the starving family of lion cubs, or to survive, the antelope survive to go back. Anyway, I'm rabbiting on now, but yeah, thanks everyone for that. A great way to kind of end it there, I think, on Craig's fact of the week, and we'll have a lot more to talk about in the next one, because from now on we're going to change the frequency and regularity of the Zoomers. So instead of being every Monday at 8 p.m, now that people have got jobs to do, lockdowns easing and that kind of thing, just to make it a bit more manageable, it's going to be once a month on the first Monday of every month. And I think that puts the next one at the 4th of October. So, of course, all of the ZoomZoomers episodes up to this date will be available on YouTube. So if you're new to it, then feel free to catch up. And if you like what you hear, and make sure you like each video, and there's a subscribe button down one of these directions. I always get it wrong. So make sure you subscribe as well, so you can hear when it comes back next. But from now until the next one, it's going to be a bit more of a gap, and we'll have plenty to talk about. So expect the next one to go on quite long, I should say. And until then, I'd like to thank everyone for coming. Naomi, thank you for staying. I know you've been, in pain, and I didn't expect you to make it all the way to the end. So really appreciate that. Great to see Ray back again. Maybe one day we can have another Ray quiz, but no pressure on the guy. He's busy with his racing career now, we know.
He will return someday.
It will return someday. Well, thank you everyone for coming along again for this latest episode of ZoomZoomers. And until October, that's it for now. Thank you very much. Bye.
Change your background, Damien.
I know.